All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're exploring one of the most moving parts of the Lotus Sutra. It's a story all about prophecies, doubt, and ultimately, a promise of enlightenment that's just as powerful today as it was thousands of years ago.
So, the whole thing really boils down to this one profound question. Is becoming a Buddha, reaching that ultimate state, something reserved for just a select few, like a spiritual VIP club? Or is it a potential that's actually inside all of us? That's the real tension at the heart of this story. Okay, so our story kicks off with the Buddha making this absolutely stunning announcement. He decides to give his first formal prophecy of future Buddhahood to one of his most senior disciples, the great Mahakāssyapa. And this one act, well, it sets off a huge chain reaction among everyone who's listening.
Now, before we go any further, we've got to clarify this key term, shoji. This isn't just some simple prediction or a good guess. It's a formal, public declaration, a sacred guarantee from a fully enlightened being. Getting a shoji is like being given a rock-solid 100% guarantee that your spiritual journey will end with you becoming a Buddha. It's the ultimate seal of approval.
And so the Buddha declares that way off in a future age, Mahakāssyapa will become a Buddha named Luminous Tathagata. I mean, can you just imagine hearing that? Your future name, your destiny, laid out right there for everyone to hear. It's an incredibly significant moment, not just for him, but for everyone in the room.
And the prophecy gets into all these amazing details about the world he's going to create. His Buddha land, which will be called the land of luminous virtue, is described as this perfect paradise. The ground itself will be made of shimmering lapis lazuli, with roads lined by jeweled trees and marked with golden cords. It's a realm that's totally pure with no defilement or evil whatsoever.
And get this, his lifespan as a Buddha will be 12 small kalpas. Now, a kalpa is a cosmic eon, a length of time so vast it's almost impossible for us to wrap our minds around it. And even after he passes, his teachings will stick around for another 40 small kalpas. So this shows you it's not just a personal achievement, it's the start of a legacy that's going to span ages.
So, hearing this incredible prophecy for their friend and fellow disciple, you can imagine, the other senior monks are just completely overwhelmed. And this is where the story takes this really deep human and emotional turn.
You have these amazing disciples, Subhuti, Kaccayana, Madhyayana, and the text says they were awestruck. But the original word, songli, it implies something more, like a shiver of both fear and reverence. They're so happy for Mahakāssyapa, of course, but at the same time, this deep anxiety starts to bubble up. Could this promise? Could it ever be for them too?
To try and explain this feeling, they use this incredibly powerful metaphor. They say they feel like starving people who have just stumbled upon a king's royal banquet. The feast is right there in front of them, but they feel so unworthy they don't dare eat without a personal invitation from the king himself. It's this timeless kind of spiritual imposter syndrome, It shows that even these really advanced practitioners can doubt their own worthiness. They're basically begging the Buddha, we hear you, but please, we need you to tell us directly that this feast is also for us.
That is just such a vulnerable and honest plea. They've put their deepest spiritual insecurity right out there. So, the big question is, how will the Buddha, the great king, respond to these hungry, hopeful guests?
Well, the Buddha, knowing their minds perfectly, doesn't miss a beat. He immediately turns to another great disciple, Subhuti, who is right there in the thick of feeling this profound anxiety, and he offers him his own personal prophecy.
He declares that Subhuti will one day become the name and form Tathagata. It's a direct, compassionate, and immediate answer to their unspoken prayer. He's showing them, yes, this feast is for you too. Come and eat.
And Subhuti's future land, Treasureborn, is just as spectacular, but it's beautifully unique. The ground there will be made of crystal, not lapis lazuli, and its people will live in these amazing jeweled pavilions. This shows that the promise isn't some one-size-fits-all destiny. It's a unique and glorious path for each and every person.
And the Buddha's reassurance doesn't stop there. He keeps going, turning his attention to two other great disciples who are waiting, just filled with that same mix of hope and fear, Kaccayana and Madhyayana.
So this slide just lays it out so clearly. Kaccayana is promised he will become the Jambunada gold light Tathagata, and Madhyayana will become the Tamalapatra Chandana fragrance Tathagata. And notice how each one is unique. Even their lifespans are different. Kaccayana's is 12 small kalpas, but Madhyayana's is a full 24. The Buddha is taking the time to personally reassure each of them one by one.
By now, you're starting to see a pattern emerge.
But the Buddha is about to take this series of personal prophecies and expand it into something truly revolutionary, a universal promise that was going to change everything.
And here it is. This is the ultimate takeaway. The Buddha turns to the entire assembly and makes this incredible declaration. All 500 disciples gathered there will, in time, receive their own prophecies and attain Buddhahood. The message becomes crystal clear. This promise isn't just for the famous few. The feast is for everyone at the table. Enlightenment is a universal potential.
And that really leaves us with a final thought to chew on. This isn't just a story about ancient disciples. It's a profound message about our own inherent possibilities. So the question becomes, what does it mean for us today to hear that the highest awakening isn't some limited resource, but a universal promise just waiting to be fulfilled?